Imagine having a player on your team that can do this.
From and Ward, the crossover. Brandon hammer time. Man, oh man.
Now imagine if there were two players on your team that could do that.
Let's see what the Pels can do. Zion, clear path. Look out!
Yeah, that's the problem the NBA has when facing the New Orleans Pelicans, and that problem goes a lot deeper than just two stars that can throw down highlight plays. Those two stars are also surrounded by some of the best role players in the entire NBA.
Kyrie on the run, blocked away by Herb. Not on Herb.
Now Herb Jones is a different animal now.
Not on Herb.
And I think everyone knows the Pelicans have a talented roster, but no one seems to be taking them all that seriously.
Are you convinced that this version of Zion and the Pelicans can make a real playoff push?
Hell no.
And this has nothing to do with performance or stats, and everything to do with reputation, which is fine, but I'm going to tell you the Pelicans are the real deal and shouldn't be taken lightly. Don't just take my word for it, the stats are pretty evident. Not only are they 13 games above 500, but probably the best measurement of how good a team is, particularly this late in a season, is their combination of offensive and defensive rating. Well, the Pelicans are top 10 in both. And just to put this into perspective, this is the average of each championship team's offensive and defensive rating since 2017. And then there's New Orleans. But none of this matters if they can't beat good competition, right? Well, the only teams with better records against above 500 competition are the Celtics, Timberwolves, Thunder, Bucks, and Nuggets. I'm by no means saying you should drop everything and consider them championship favorites, but this is no fluke. I mean, any team with Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram is going to be pretty damn good, because it's almost guaranteed one of them is going to deliver on a nightly basis. Just look at one of their recent wins against Indiana, in which BI put on an absolute show, going off for 34, 8, and 6, 19 of which came in the first quarter. Just look at him on this play using the JV screen to get Naismith on his back before then sidestepping to the right to create extra separation, and the jump shot is about as pure as it could possibly get. And Naismith was just struggling to guard him in general, because after hitting another midi in his face, this time BI backed him down before looking as though he was going to hit the fadeaway, but instead stepping through and laying it in. Or in this play against Halliburton, who is just food for BI, let's be honest. He backs him down, Naismith comes to help, and Herb is actually a bit slow to relocate, which gives BI no choice but to spin baseline away from the double and hit the beautiful fadeaway. But he wasn't done cooking, because look at him in transition.
Check it. Brandon going to the hole again.
And we've only seen BI in a playoff setting once, but in those 6 games, he played against the number 1 seeded Suns without Zion next to him and put up 27, 6, and 6 on great efficiency. All-star, all NBA level numbers without his co-star, who is also having a really good season. Yeah, I know people think he's fallen off a cliff because his scoring numbers have gone down, but that's a very short-sighted take to have. Honestly, it's a testament to his versatility that he has changed his game to accommodate a more rounded supporting cast, averaging a career high in assists on a career low turnovers. Just look at one of his recent games against the Bulls, in which he recorded 11 assists, 8 of which resulted in 3-pointers. Look at him on this play. He has Drummond isolated on an island. He drives left, which forces Dosunmu to dig and opens up a wide open 3 for Matt Ryan. Or this time it's Zion in the post. This time Kobe White comes over to help, and again, Matt Ryan is the beneficiary. And right here are 2 perfect examples of why Zion is averaging more assists and less points per game. The defense is intent on stopping him scoring, forcing the likes of Matt Ryan, Trigger Trey, and Herb to knock down the threes that he creates with his gravity. And you have to give props to Zion, because he's more than willing to go games without scoring at a high rate, having 10 games this season in which he's taken 11 or less shots, which might sound concerning, but in those 10 games, the Pels are 7-3, just showing the versatility of their offense. But when Zion wants to score, he's still more than capable. Just look at him on this play bring the ball up the floor. He hits Caruso with a filthy crossover before then finishing through the contact of Nikola Vucevic. Just think about that. He's too quick for Alex Caruso and then too strong for Nikola Vucevic. Or how about here where he gets the handoff from Zeller before freezing McGee with a between the legs dribble and then crossing back left. Let's not forget just who Zion is as a scorer. Since 2019, the only players to average at least 20 points per game on 51% efficiency are Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, KD, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Zion Williamson. Only 2 of those players haven't won MVPs, and people can talk about how all of his buckets come at the rim, but the reality is, the only way to stop that is to throw multiple defenders at him and form a wall, which is why it's so important that you are seeing the development in his playmaking and the development of his supporting cast. In particular, Herbert Keyshawn Jones, who is the Pelicans' 3rd best player. That's not a slight on CJ McCollum, it's just a fact. And that's what happens when you combine elite defense with some incredibly efficient and smart offensive play. Most people are familiar with Herb as a defensive player, or at least you should be, but offensively, the improvements he's made this year have been incredible, going from a shooting liability at times to a 43% three-point shooter, and it was all done through working. This is what Herb said about teams leaving him open last season. I never played against anybody that would just not guard me. There was nobody else to point the finger at but myself. I just had to go in and work on my weaknesses. And now whenever teams decide to send help at Zion or BI, they're gambling off a 43% three-point shooter in Herb Jones, who's not only capable of knocking down open threes, but if you close out aggressively, he's got size and athleticism to take you off the dribble and finish at the rim. Like here where Dyson kicks it out to him. He recognizes the size advantage, so he just drives straight to the rim and finishes. Now the offensive improvements he's made make this team a legit force in the playoffs, because it means you have to guard him or give up open shots to a currently elite shooter. But let's not lose sight of what makes Herb the 3rd best player on this team. It's his truly elite defense. With Herb Jones on the floor, the Pelicans' defensive rating is 7 points better, and it's because he does absolutely everything, from blocking three-point shots to getting in the passing lanes to, most importantly, consistently shutting down opposition stars, which is going to be hugely important come playoff time. Just look at him on this play guarding Trae Young on the inbound pass. Hunter and Capella both set screens to get Trae free. Herb recovers before somehow avoiding fouling him on the jump shot, swiping the ball away, and this is what he does so well, which is turn those defensive stops into transition buckets. Or how about this play, which is just truly special? He follows Clay on this handoff, JV steps up, so he knows Clay is going to have to force the pass into Jackson Davis, so Herb then slides over and blocks the 6'10" big at the rim. Yeah, pretty decent being able to guard Klay Thompson off a handoff, and in the same play, block an extremely athletic rim rolling big. But what makes this Pelicans team such a threat is the fact you have an elite trio of Herb, Zion, and BI, but in addition to that, you have 2 guys that can hit 7 or 8 threes on any given night. Or in the case of Trey Murphy, sometimes he can do it nearly every night when he gets hot. Just look at his recent 4-game stretch, where he knocked down 24 threes, including 10 against Toronto. And I think we were all expecting a breakout season from Trey, but the injury he had in the preseason definitely derailed some of that. However, if this is what you're getting consistently from your 6th man, the league is in trouble. Because not only does he hit regular catch and shoot threes, Trey can hit them from the parking lot. He can also take you off the dribble and get to the rack as a 6'9" forward with great athleticism. And then there's CJ McCollum, who has been a professional scorer his entire career, shooting 41% from 3. Anyways, if you made it to the end of the video, a like would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Either way, have a great day. Bye.